take a look at Mamdani here being asked, okay, now you're the new mayor of New York. What's your plan? What's your message to the wealthy in New York? Let's take a look at this clip.
1,000 or more. So if you're going to be adding 2% to people at $1 million, that I just did the math, right? Well, but that's going to be an increase of 51% of what they pay now. I'm not saying cry for them. I'm saying if they leave, you're not going to get that money. And when you increase someone's taxes by 51%, aren't a lot of people going to leave?
We're saying we're increasing it by 2% of what it is right now. And ultimately, I'm guided by the facts. The Fiscal Policy Institute did an analysis of the top 1% of New Yorkers and found that they leave the city at 1/4 the rate of other income categories. And when they do leave, they leave to what are called high tax states, New Jersey, California. So what it then comes down to is, why are they leaving? Is it fiscal policy or is it actually quality of life? And I've heard that time and again from wealthier New Yorkers, from all New Yorkers.
So it's talk. They're going to go to Florida and all you think is talk.
In 2021, when I came to the state assembly, we had the same fight to fund public schools, to raise taxes on billionaires and corporations. We were told millionaires would flee.
Yep.
And we now have more millionaires.
Okay, so the New York Times is saying that Mayor Adams is trying to gather business leaders to support him, to say this is going to be bad. And
my question right now is, who's actually coming in? Who's actually coming to New York? Who's moving to New York? The reason why we left Chicago is because we didn't feel safe there. Anybody that gets arrested for second-degree murder gets to be booked and then come back for your court date. They're not in jail. They caught them and they released them back to society. Just come back for your court. Honor your court date and hope you do. The same policies in Chicago, the same policy they have in New York. Do people feel safe in New York? What's the biggest thing that people say when they come to Chicago? You know what people say? Chicago's a cleaner New York. For many people, is whatever they earn, they like to keep more of it instead of giving it up to federal income tax, state income tax, in this case, city income tax. Imagine being taxed in 3 different areas.
Hedge fund manager, of course, you know of him, New Yorker. He said he agrees with you that the city's broken, okay, but he has a real problem with your economic policies. He said the ability for New York City to offer services for the poor and needy, let alone the average New Yorker, is entirely dependent on New York City being a business-friendly environment and a place where wealthy residents are willing to spend 183 days, the amount you need to be taxed, and assume the associated tax burden. Unfortunately, both have already started making arrangements for the exits. So you just think that that isn't going to add up. And by the way, that corporate tax rate that you're talking about, that's a big increase.
That's matching 7.25% going to 11.5%. And the point of it is that if it works for our regional neighbor, why can't it work for us? And with Bill Ackman, this is someone who put $500,000 into Andrew Cuomo's super PAC, someone to whom clearly money is not an issue. And ultimately, even for him, life would get better. Because what I'm looking to use this money for is to make the quality of life across the city better.
Okay, he's not alone. There are a lot like him, whether it's Ken Griffin or CEOs of big banks. Would you meet with them?
I'll meet with anyone. I will meet with them and I'll explain why I believe in the necessity of raising the top corporate tax rate. And I'd also tell Bill Ackman that I firmly disagree with his attempt to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion across the country, because it's not only against the morals of so many, it's also against the actual bottom line for so many businesses. And as a businessman, he should understand that.
I don't think diversity, equity, and inclusion is going to affect my bottom line. You know why? I have a national insurance agency of Black, brown, and white, and Asian American agents. Guess what we don't care about? We don't care about diversity, equity, and inclusion from the political definition of it. What affects the bottom line is having a company filled with performers who do less complaining and more work, production-wise, to get results that affect the bottom line. The practical breakdown here between how he runs the city. Listen, they wants to be the government that forces wealthy, most productive people in New York. He wants to force and impose more money out of their companies, out of their paychecks into the government coffers. So there are 2 schools of thought to manage money better. Either A, to fix the government problem, to fix the city budget. I manage the money that I take from taxpayers to be a better steward of that, to make sure the money is wisely being spent in areas that helps society. Or in his case, which I have not heard, is that. But what I have heard is we're just going to tax the rich more. We're not going to do better in terms of fiscal, budgetary management. We're just going to tax the rich more. We're going to force companies, millionaires, and billionaires to pay more money. Capitalism warns this: if you raise taxes too much, you discourage their risk-taking. What does a risk-taking result in? Businesses that create jobs, jobs that employ people, people that take those jobs, take that salary to go out and buy homes, put the kids to school, buy groceries, buy cars, invest their money inside 401k or retirement savings, whatever the case would be. From a believer's standpoint is this: I risk, I invested, I should receive the benefit of that risk and that incentive. But if the reward reduces, so in other words, if I take this risk, my reward reduces, so why should I risk it if I get very little of it or less of it in return? Let me just step back into safety mode. So kill and disincentivize some of the most productive people of your city. Is that what you want? And the biggest issue isn't whether you pay taxes. It's whether your system honors risk-taking, honors stewardship, or does it penalize it? He wants to penalize it. Because if you discourage the builder, you discourage the entrepreneur, you discourage the creator, guess what happens? You shrink the table for everybody. If you like that clip, watch the next one over here. To watch the full-length episode, click over here.